Hey everybody, it's Jay from DBA in a Box. Hey, so we got a ton of car audio and electronics equipment in, and getting ready to build a car audio test station, a test bench. And I had a bunch of people ask about this in one of the Facebook groups, so I'm going to do this, and I wanted to share what I'm doing with you. So let's talk about what we'll need. Well, so first of all, the basic idea is we're going to take a piece of wood and we're going to put everything we need on there to be able to test a full car stereo with 2 front speakers, 2 rear speakers, a subwoofer, and if we need to, an amp. So to do this, what we're going to do is we're going to pre-stage everything, and we're going to use alligator clips to make final connections. Okay, so let's talk about what you need to do this. So first of all, you need a board to put your test bench on. Second, you're going to need something to act as just small little 1-inch feet on the bottom of this. And the reason for that is so that your screws, when they're poking through the bottom, aren't sitting on a table or whatever you're setting the bench on. You're going to need a work surface, of course. We are going to need a circular saw to make any cuts that we need to make. We're going to need power driver with both drill bits and screwdriver bits. We're going to need a measuring tape. And we're going to need our bolts. And you can see I've got 2 different types here. You're going to need bolts, you're going to need washers, and you're going to need the hex nuts to go with the bolts. So you're going to need to be able to do this. You're going to need 3 hex nuts and 2 washers for each bolt. All right, so that's what you need to put it together. Okay, now what do you need for the actual test bench? Well, the first thing we're going to do, and I'm just going to move this stuff out of the way as we call it out. So you're going to need, what do you need for the actual testing? Well, you need a 12-volt power supply. Now I've got this one because I do a lot of electronics testing and I need a real power supply. They do sell ones for, and by the way, it's hot as heck out here. This one's about $70 new at Fry's. Fry's also has one for $40. The $40 one is more like it looks like a laptop AC adapter, but it has a lighter, like a car lighter, and you can cut the lighter part off and use those wires to do the same thing I'm going to do with this. So you're going to need a 12-volt power supply. Give the whole thing power. Okay. You're going to need 5 junction box covers. These need to be the metal ones. The whole purpose in these is that they're magnetic, so your speakers will stick to them. That'll let you put your speaker on, clip it in, and not worry about it moving all over the place if somebody jiggles the table or something like that. So you need 5 of those. You're going to need a set of I'm using machine screws, but you could also use hex head bolts that will fit in the slots on these, obviously, to tie it onto the thing. You also need washers and nuts for that. Okay, now you're definitely going to want heavy gauge red and black wire. This is going to be running from the power supply to the stereo itself. This is going to be, your power supply is 12 volt 5 amps, at least 5 amps, somewhere between 5 and 10. 10 amps is probably too much, but at least 5 amps. Okay, so you want wire to run from the power supply to the stereo. You're going to want plenty of alligator clips, jumper leads. We'll be using the heck out of those. Now I could have gone with go get all the right colors for all the speakers and everything, but instead all of your speaker wires can just be regular speaker wire. Get cheap stuff. You know, this is 14 gauge. 14 or 12. 24? Sorry, 24 gauge. 24 gauge speaker wire. And then I got electrical tape in all the colors that your car stereo uses. And we'll just put a color coding on the speaker wire, and then you'll be able to run from your stereo to the speaker, or speakers, however it might be, and that'll get you all set on actually creating your test bench. Okay, and I'll show you how we're going to do this. We're going to use those big bolts as posts for the alligator clips. Okay. Of course, you also need your nut driver if you're using hex heads, which I have on one of these. And then finally, your multimeter to test everything. Make sure it's all good. So everything here, as far as screws, nuts, all of that needs to be conductive. It needs to be able to pass current through it. We're not going to worry a huge amount about the safety aspect of this, because we can wrap the nuts in electrical tape and insulate them. So we're not going to worry too much about insulating us from this power. 12 volts, 5 amps, 60 watts. It's not that much power. It is enough to shock you and leave a burn, but it's not enough to really hurt you. Okay, so that is all the stuff we need. So, where do we start? Well, the first thing I'm going to do is, since it's right here, that is not long enough for this. All right, so the first thing we need to do is we need to cut our feet. I found these stakes. I probably should have just gone ahead and bit the bullet and bought a whatchamajigger, just a longer board. But I figured I had boards. Okay, now this is stupid. So you put a okay. All right, so yeah, if I get a longer one, then I can just make 6 quick cuts and I'm done. I might have to take a little longer on this, but I found those stakes laying around, so why not? Power here we do. Okay. Boy, it's been a while since I used the circular saw. As always, safety first. Before I do anything else, I'll put some safety goggles on over the top of my... Well, one advantage of the military is you get all kinds of cool stuff. These are ballistic goggles. I'm pretty sure they're good enough as safety goggles. All right, so where's my pen, pencil? I'm just marking off 1 inch, actually 1 1/16. All right, 1 1/16 inches apart to make room for the blade. Now, in reality, it would have been better to use a table saw for that, but you know what, this will work. All we're trying to do is make it so it stands up. Well, I got all different sizes here, I suck. But that's okay, we'll jigsaw them down if we need to. Make them all the same size. Okay, so we got our feet. Let's put those off to the side. So next thing we're going to do, bring our board on up. I'm not going to worry about the feet yet. Right now I just want to bring the board up because we're going to do some putting on of plates. So the cool thing is this will be pretty easy. So the way I'm thinking about doing this is one plate here, one plate there, one plate here, one plate here, and one at the bottom for the subwoofer. And we'll leave the amp space in the center. The stereo is going to go right here, and the power supply is going to go right here. The stereo is going to go right here. So step number one, we need to get these plates in. Let's just kind of get them there. They don't have to be measured perfectly. We're just trying to do a test bench. It's not like this is going to ever end up in somebody's house other than mine. So now, what we're going to do is we're going to mark our, so these have one where the screw goes through and then slides, and then one where the screw goes on it. So we're going to mark the small part of where the screw slides. And we're going to do all of these first. Now these bolts are going to go through and down. So I have 1-inch bolts. That's 1/4 inch, so it's going to stick down 3/4 of an inch. That's why our legs are 1 inch. Okay, so we got some places to put bolts. Move these out of the way. Get ourselves the appropriate drill bit. This is going to be for these bolts. Here. This one is the right one, which is the 11/64. It's got just a little bit of spare room. We're going to double check that before we lock ourselves into it. Alright, we got our hole. Let's see if that fits. Nope, too small. Go 2 sizes. So it doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be a couple sizes bigger than the hole you need. So in my case, I'm going with a 15/64 bit. Well, okay, so I'm just going to go with a 1/4 inch bit. Because remember, we're going to have washers on these and it's being held in place by nuts, so alright, so go through there nicely, it does, perfect. Okay, so, and that's a slotted, by the way, I didn't mean to get slotted, but I got them, so I'll use them. Okay, so, now real quick, we'll just drill all the rest of those holes. Where's this marker? That can't be it. That's way over. Again, doesn't have to be perfect because it's just a test bed. So, alright, and then we'll put one down here for the subwoofer. We'll leave lots of room in case the subwoofer is bigger than the others. Alright, so now we have holes. And I'm going to show you how I do the first one, and then I'm going to do the rest of them all at one time off camera. Okay, so I get my plate. I put this where I think the marker goes, which is right there. Okay, and I go ahead and take my so for these, it's going to be bolt with a washer on top, washer on the bottom, and then hex nut on the bottom. So I take my bolt with a washer, switch bits. Bolt goes through the hole that I just drilled. Underneath we take a washer. And a nut. I'm just going to hold the nut and screw this in. And I could take a pair of pliers, but who cares? And then later we'll tighten that nut up. Right now I just want to get the plate in place. We'll mark our spot for our hole. Move the plate out of the way. By the way, if you have two drills, which I happen to have, go ahead and get the second one just for the ease of it. Make it a little easier so I don't have to keep switching bits. Alright, drill my second hole. Screw in a washer. Screw the washer on top. Washer and a nut on the bottom. seriously. Okay, and then we've got a plate. Now, below this plate, we're going to do 2 posts. Okay, not really worried about how far these are because I can always slide the speaker back if I need to make the room forward, if I need to be closer. Matter of fact, I'm going to put them further out just because I have the room. So this is going here. Yeah. All right, so actually I'm going to go the other way with that. I'm going to put 2 more posts in the middle. Now I'm putting my posts in the middle so that I can run the wires together across. All right, so those 2 posts are going to go there, and we're going to go this way with this plate. So these are bigger. And for this, we're going to use a 5/16 bit. We're just going to drill all 4 of these holes. All right, now these are going to go the other way. So now I could sand this off or whatever. I think I'm just going to take a wire brush and brush it off. These things on top. Just run that across that way with the direction so that we don't have little splinters sticking up to get us. Same thing underneath. Alright, so now we've got a nice little clean area. Now for this, we're going to take a bowl with a washer. You go underneath and have it sticking up. Another washer. And the nut. And again, for now, we're just going to loosely tighten these down. We'll tighten them down completely when we're ready. So if you haven't figured it out, these are going to be the wiring posts. Two more of those, so again, we will tighten these down. We're just putting them on there loosely for the moment. All right, one more. Oh, by the way, if you don't know the wires, you might want to get a wiring diagram too that shows what all the different colors mean for the stereo. There's specific colors for front left, rear left, front right, rear right. Okay, but so this is the basic setup for what a speaker is going to look like on this. All right, we're going to have a plate. We're going to have two posts for it. And then for the rear, we're going to have another plate and the two posts for that plate. And from there, we're going to step away. I'm going to go ahead and finish these up. Finish up making the rest of this look like that. So that's what we're looking like. And we're going to take a break while I do the rest of it. Okay, so we finished that. One thing I didn't mention is that we're going to put two bolts on or two nuts on each one of these bolts. We're going to use one of them to hold the bolt to the table, and the second one is going to be to hold the wire in place. Now we're going to do the same thing over here. We're going to do 6, then 4, and then we're going to do 2 up here for power. Okay, because we want the power away from the other ones. All right. So this is easy enough because we don't have to measure. We just come about where it is and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and again, I'm going to stop the camera, but I'm going to do exactly the same thing with these that I did with these. Bolt with a washer underneath, on top, washer, bolt, and another, or washer, nut, another nut. Same exact thing. For all 8 of those holes. All right, so we finished with that. We've got all these bolted in, we've tightened them down. So now what you've got is you've got your front speakers, your rear speakers, your subwoofer. Now if there's an amplifier, we're just going to alligator clip it. We'll set it up here or down here or wherever it fits. We've got over here, these correspond to these 2 correspond to these 2, these 4 correspond to these 4, and these 2 are our power. So we're going to go ahead and start wiring. So for the wiring part, we're going to start with our power cables, okay? Wire stripper. Don't use a knife. Definitely don't use your teeth. I've done it. It sucks. Teeth break. Wire doesn't. So all I'm going to do here is I'm going to get out a little strip of wire that's far more than what I need. This is 14 gauge, which is my third one up. Alright, so we've got a piece of wire that's, you know, a decent length. And we're just going to get it in here. We're going to strip about 1 inch worth of the insulation off of both ends. Okay. This is solid copper wire. It's not twisted. So we can take it, wrap it around there, and then just tighten down the bolt. And I'll use I'll do it the right way here in a second. Then I'm just going to take this and make sure it's nice and tightly wrapped and that we don't have any major copper sticking out. Now obviously, when this is hooked up, this is going to have power to it. And then we're going to do the same thing with the red. Okay, red is universal color for positive, although yellow also gets used for it. And then black is universal color for ground or negative. Okay, again, we're just going to chop off a chunk. Okay, we're done with our wire. Again, we're going to strip a piece off of each end. Make ourselves a nice tight loop, put it between the two nuts. Tighten it down as you can, get it inside there, nice and tight, and tighten down the nut so that the wire is nice and tight in there. Okay, now, we're not going to need all that. We're putting extra. You always put a little extra so that if you do have to retrim it or something, you're not having to rewire the whole thing. Okay, so we have red and black wires. Okay, on your speaker wire, and we're just using really thin, cheap speaker wire, but on your speaker wire, one of the pieces, I don't know if you can see it, but this one that's to your left on this side over here has a white stripe on it. Okay, so the one that's got the stripe on it is always going to go to the two color wire in the harness. So in this case you got white and black. So the white and black is where I'm going to put the one with the stripe. Actually, let me go look. I may have some nourishment water that we can use for this, just to be safe and make sure we don't have to redo this. So what we're going to do, take this wire, and again this one's the same way. It's got one that's got a stripe on it and one that doesn't. That's true of all speaker wire, or should be. Should be true on any speaker wire you get. It's a standard, so standards are good things for stuff like this. Alright, so here's how we're going to do this. I'm going to lay it out. I'm going to split it. And take our non-standard side. And we're going to strip it. All right, there's one. And two. This is braided wire, so we're going to go ahead and just wrap it back up. Okay. Plain side. If there is no stripe, it's the side with the writing. Nice and tight around the bolt. Tight in there. Right, and this one, same thing. nice and tight inside. Squish it down. Get it nice and tight. Okay. So now we're going to be going across like this and then back up. So we'll want to cut this about right here. We're going to split it. Okay, we're going to split it. Now we're going to label it. So first I'm going to put black on both negative strands. I'm going to put it kind of up towards the top of the split because I may have to trim that some when I'm doing all my lay. I'm laying the final wire down and tacking it to the table. So black strip on the negative side. And then this is left front. Left front is white and black for the negative and white for the positive. We're going to get out our little roll of white tape. Alright, so on the white and black. Show you this when I do the other side. I'm going to lay the white on top of the black so that I get basically a white with a black next to it. My voice is going because it's about 1,000 degrees out here. Inside the house, in my office, I just ran in to grab the color chart. It was 80 degrees in my office with the central air on. Alright, so you can see there now I've got a white and a black next to each other. Okay, there is no doubt that is the white and black wire. Now the other wire is just going to get plain white. And now we've got a white and a black. Now we're not going to go ahead, we're not going to connect those yet. Okay, so that's how we're going to do that. And we're going to do these, we're going to do the rest of them exactly like that. We're going to leave this side off for now. And with that, I am going to cut and I will do the rest of these and then we'll come back to it. Alright, so I've gotten all of my wires created. You can see they're just hanging loose on this end over here. They're all marked, so green and black green, white and black white, blue, blue and white, gray, gray and black, purple and black purple, and then the other ends are marked the same. So now what I've done with the tape here is you can see I've got this running down the middle in between the 4 screws. So it's running down this channel in the middle. Okay? What I've done is I've just taped them together with just a little tiny bit of tape right in between each one so that just to hold it against strain and to hold them together and keep them from getting sloppy. Okay? Before we're done, I will be anchoring these with just some little cable anchors to the actual table. These could be tape, these could be Velcro strips, or I'm sorry, not Velcro. We don't use Velcro. We use hook and pile tape. Velcro is a registered trademark of Velcro. Anyhow, so now we've got all of our wires. Okay, blue and blue. We've got our front left, rear left, front right, rear right. This is either subwoofer or amplifier, depending on situation. Usually it's going to be to an amplifier, then to the subwoofer. But sometimes it'll just be straight to the subwoofer, depends on the head unit. And then on this side, this is where we're going to jump from the radio to get to those. Okay, so the next step is we're going to take each one of these. Okay, so white and black and white are the front two up here. That's this wire here. We're going to take that, we're going to lay it through, and we're going to cut it just a little, or we can come back this way. Now personally, I prefer to come back this way because then we get some spare wire in case we ever have to trim it for anything. I just always leave extra wire. And we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to strip it. Twist it back in. Looks like I kind of got too much of that one. Okay, strip this guy. And like I said, we're gonna go with the extra. So we're gonna come in, and we're gonna come back around. And so we get in there. Oops, going the wrong way. Tighten that guy down. Same thing with this guy. Make a hook. And again, I'm going to loop it around. Tighten it down nice and tight. And that one's done. And we're just going to keep doing that. We're going to do the rest of them that way. So I'm going to do that now. Alright, so we now have them all tied down. So the last thing we're going to do is check continuity. And that's just touch one lead to the screw on this side, touch one lead to the screw on that side. And see if you get overload. Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah, how about we actually do continuity testing? Where's our sound? Okay. No sound. Okay, so touch the screw, touch the screw. Should get a slight resistance reading or an overload. And so we just test all of them. And if any of them don't have continuity, we fix it. Okay. So our testing station is actually done. So let's go ahead and we're going to get out a radio to test, and I'm going to show you how to hook everything up. Give me just a second, and we'll pull out one of the ones we need to test, and then we'll see if it's good using our new testing station. Okay, so we've got a test station. So let's test something. Now, I've got a head unit here. This is a Pioneer head unit. It was a customer return. We don't know if it's good or not. I've got two Kicker speakers that came back. They said they were damaged. Truth is, it looks like the only damage was the guy tried to take the faceplate off and screwed up. And it's fine. It'll go right back on. Now, I've hooked this one up already, but on this one, I left it so I could show you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and look at the bottom of this. There's one of these that has a little red dash on it. It's going to be my positive. So So I'll go to my positive pole on my front speaker, front left speaker. And then there's one with nothing on it. That's going to be my negative. So I'll clip that. And I'll clip to my negative pole. And then I'll take this guy and stick him on my magnet so it doesn't move. Okay. Now, got a pigtail. Okay, now you may or may not be able to see this, but the wires on these, they actually are already ready stripped. You can see the copper is exposed there. That's what I'm going to clip to. I'm going to clip to that copper. And if there's not one of those, then I'm going to make one of those. Okay, so I got my power hooked up to here. I have my front speaker. And I've got negative on my left speaker. And I need one more. And that'll be the positive on my left speaker. Okay. Now I'm ready to hook this thing up. So I get my wiring diagram, which the wind is blowing away on me. And on my wiring diagram I have yellow and red go to the 12 volt. Black goes to the ground. And then I've got white and black for the left, and gray and black for the right. Okay, so I hook up to my yellow wire. I hook up to my red wire. And actually I can take these two if I want to and just put them on the same clip, just to save clipping. But it's a little easier, I think, to do it separately. And then we've got this red and white. Okay, so is that orange and white or red? That's orange and white. Okay. So now we've got our red. Now our black wire goes to our ground. Our white goes to the white. Okay, and these have not been stripped, so I'm going to have to strip just a tiny bit off the end to test them. I'm going to strip as little as possible. Strip both of those right up near the end. Okay, and we're going to hook that one to that one, this one to this one. Wait, did I get that right? Is white is left. The white and black go to the left speaker, so it should be not these. It should be the yellow goes to the white, the black goes to the black and white. And then what we could do is we don't have to, I don't want to strip any more than I have to. So what we'll do is we'll try it with this. And then what we'll do is we'll just switch these over to here to test that other speaker. All right, so we take our wiring harness and we plug it in to the back of the head unit. And we give it power. I powered the head unit. I see lights. We have power. radio is probably not going to work very well. Well, we have no antenna plugged into it, so this isn't going to work very well. So let's see. Let's do Bluetooth. See if we can get this hooked up to my phone. That speaker's fine. Okay, don't want to play too much of that because we don't want to get our video muted, but that one works. So now let's take, let's do this the easy way. We'll just take these two clips and move them over there, like that. More sound. Speakers are good. Head unit's good. We're good. And that's it. That is all there is to this thing. So that is how you build a radio test bench. And you do it so that you can do your testing quickly and efficiently. You can see all I have to do to test is hook up the right alligator clips to the right places and turn on the power. That's it. It's that easy. So it was a bit of work getting set up, but you know what? Who cares? Now I can run through and test things just as quickly as I can plug them in and test them. Awesome, huh? So with that, I will let you go, and we'll see you next time. Hopefully this helps. I know a couple of people asked for it. If you like what you see, hit like, subscribe. Who knows, maybe I'll do more videos if I see some activity. And with that, you have a great day, and happy Labor Day.